How much money do you need to never run the risk of running out of money? Especially if you want to retire early, you need your money to last longer than most. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. How can you craft the perfect retirement expense strategy so that you don't have to second guess going out to dinner or taking that big trip? I want you to do those things, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Once again, my name is Taublieb. I am a financial planner, and I help people retire early. I'm also the vice president of Root Financial Partners and the host of the Early Retirement Podcast. How much do you think most people spend in retirement? The US Bureau of Labor says that it's about $4,300 a month. That might surprise you, it might sound a little low to you, but most of my clients spend between $6,000 to $8,000 every month adjusted for inflation after taxes, and that's not including a mortgage. So the reality is, if you want to be able to spend something along those lines, or if that sounds more like it's along what you're looking for, keep watching this video. Some people say make sure that, in retirement, you have the ability to spend 55 to 80% of what you're spending today, because right now you have a paycheck and 401k deductions come out of that, and maybe insurance premiums and other things come out of that paycheck that won't be there in the future. So you don't need the same amount of income that you have today to be able to supplement lifestyle in retirement. I don't believe that fully, and here's why, is there are some things today that, yes, 401k contributions that will go away in the future, but expenses are going to get added back in, like extra travel, like going out to eat, like doing other things because you have more time, and that is a good thing. I know it made it sound almost like a negative, but it's not. That's a positive. We just need to account for that intelligently. So there's two ways to looking at retirement expenses, and I view retirement a little differently than most if you've been watching my videos for some time. You can do the spreadsheet way, which is the bottom-up way of going line by line on an Excel spreadsheet, and you might get pretty close to what you think you're going to spend in retirement. And I do this with my clients, but I don't advise doing it until we're a few months out from retiring to really dial in the numbers. At first, I like to start with the top-down approach, and that's what I would advise all of you to do, which is high level. Let's see, how much money do we think comes in today? How much money would really excite us in retirement? Some of this is a ballpark because we want to get a general sense before we dial it in. So here's what I would do next. Let's assume $8,000 a month is coming in today. That's what hits your bank account. That's the net number. Now, let's say that 401k contributions are coming out and maybe you make $10,000 a month. And so 401k comes out, insurance premiums, and now you have $8,000 a month. Okay, great. We have $8,000 a month, but now you have a mortgage, and that mortgage is $2,000 a month. And I'm just saying principal and interest, no property taxes or HOA, or just let's keep it simple. So $8,000 a month is coming in net. You make 10, things go to your 401k and, insurance, and now you have 8 that hits your bank account. Call it $4,000 every 2 weeks. Let's just keep it monthly for ease. So now you have $8,000 a month hitting, and $2,000 a month is going to a mortgage that won't be there in the future. Maybe when you retire, there's no more mortgage. A lot of my clients keep a mortgage, but that's another topic for a new video. Let's assume now that you need, $8,000 a month is coming in net, $2,000 is going to pay the mortgage, but if that's gone in retirement, we need $6,000 a month. But now let's assume you're also doing a Roth IRA. So now that's $5,500. Let's just assume you do $500 a month, which I know this year you can do more than that, but let's just keep it super, super simple. So now $5,500 a month, that tells me as an advisor, that's what you're living off of today. Now maybe you say, Ari, I'm not spending that amount. And that's when I come back to you and go, you are, you just don't know it, because money is getting spent somehow, and it's either going to miscellaneous or travel or kids, or things are happening with those dollars. And that's okay, by the way. This is not me calling you out. This is me saying, hey, there's dollars that are going somewhere. Now you can use Mint or Right Capital or these other, tools that do a good job of tracking, but sometimes keeping it high level is the best, because you can say, okay, here's what comes and hits my bank account. Here's what I have going out on my spreadsheet, but then more things tend to happen. So this is that top-down approach of, got it. We need $5,500 a month to come from somewhere to be able to live in retirement. Okay, great. There's no mortgage at this point. Yes, there's property taxes, and I factor that in differently. Maybe that's $10,000 a year, and we can account for it monthly, or, I'll teach you how I do that. But here's what I start with, is $5,500 a month. Great. Those are dollars that we need to come from somewhere. So we have maybe investments, maybe we have Social Security, maybe there's a pension, maybe there's rental income, maybe there's inheritance. Let's assume that you want it all to come from your investment portfolio. So we have $5,500 a month that we need to come all from our investments. Maybe that's because Social Security doesn't start for 10 years. Let's assume you're 52 and you want to collect at 62. Or let's pretend that you are 60 and you want to collect at 70, or whatever that may be. Well, there's a gap there. Now, that needs to come from our investments. And so number one is, are we taking money from a Roth IRA that's tax-free forever? Are we taking money from an IRA? Are we taking money from a brokerage account? Is it deferred compensation? Where are we pulling income from, and how do we do it efficiently? Well, the reality is, going back to the example, let's just assume that you have a Social Security benefit of $1,000 a month, and it's probably higher than that, but let's assume your spouse has the same. And so now you have $2,000 a month coming in. Well, we have $5,500 that we need to be able to do everything we want to do, and we have $2,000 coming from Social Security. That tells me as an advisor that we need $3,500 a month to come from our portfolio because $2,000 is coming from Social Security. Now, Social Security does not increase at the same level as inflation most of the time, even if there's a cost of living adjustment, so we need to make sure we're factoring in our investments to pick up the slack on those dollars. So now, right there, that means $3,500 needs to come from your portfolio, no mortgage, nothing like that. So that's super simple analysis. But I don't want to stop there, and here's why. You might be going, Ari, that's great, but that's just putting food on the table. That's just gas. That's groceries. I want to be excited in retirement. Maybe you've heard me talk about the go-go years, which is in the first 10, 15 years of retirement, while you have your energy and health, maybe you can spend more, travel more, do more, give more. Well, if that's you, or if that's something that excites you, I want you to be excited about it, and I want you to factor it into the plan. Today, maybe you're not spending $20,000 a year on travel. In the future, maybe that sounds like something you'd want to do. So certainly consider that, because the reality is, if it's going to be there, we want to account for it because that impacts your long term. Additionally, I want you to see, oh my gosh, can I spend $20,000? Or the reality is that's going to put me in a tough spot. On the other hand, it's, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could spend $30,000 and still be okay. I'm taking 2 extra trips and I'm going to feel excited about it. No guilt involved. That's true financial planning. How do we use your numbers to live a better life? Now, once again, that's a super high level way of that, call it top-down way of looking at it. Before you retire, there's a retirement spreadsheet I send my clients to fill out, and that's to make sure we catch everything, every little thing before they retire that excites them, a good general sense of what they want to spend in retirement. Maybe there's a pension, maybe there's rental income or other things happening. And so we need to make sure we factor all of that, but that's how I figure it out. It's what expenses exist today that won't be there in the future? What expenses are going to be there in the future that aren't here today? And how do we make sure that as we're looking at our overall finances, we're being really intelligent about the way we're creating income by pulling from the right sources, by keeping taxes really, really low, and by being efficient with what's most important to you, which is your time in retirement. So I hope this video was helpful in calculating your retirement expenses. I invite you to go do so, to really start being excited. Maybe you're many, many years out from retirement, or maybe you go, Ari, I don't even know what it's going to look like at that point. But what I invite you to do is make those steps today. Start thinking about it so that you have a general sense of how much you need to save to be able to get there. So many articles say you need $1 million to retire, or $5 million, or $10 million. You don't need any of that. I have clients with $0 and they're retired and they're happy. And why is that? It's all coming from a pension. I have other clients who don't have a pension at all, or no rental income, or no inheritance, and they have $1 million, $2 million, and they don't even have enough to retire. And so they're waiting till they hit their version of a number so that they feel confident in spending what they want. And so it's fully customizable. Lastly, if this video is helpful, please hit like and share this with someone who you think would benefit from it. It's more fun to retire with friends. And lastly, I already said lastly, but very lastly, if this is something you're interested in, this is what I help clients to do. I help people retire early, and I love doing it if you can't tell. So feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'd be happy to go through our planning process with you. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't know, I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and this is what I love doing. I help people create a custom strategy to retire early. You can always reach out to me or a member of our team here at Root, and we would be happy to walk you through our planning process to show you how we can help you get more life out of your money.